Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining me as I take a look at some of the vintage gear on display and for sale at the London International Guitar Show 2022 at Kempton Park Racecourse. The show follows the American model of a tabletop exhibition, which I think works really well. There is plenty of new and used gear on display. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the older stuff. I've done a separate video on the 1958 to 60 Sunburst Les Pauls. There's a link for that below. We'll start off by visiting the display on the top floor. First up as we walk in is a really nice selection of Gibson ES guitars. On the left we have a model I know very well, having had one myself until just a few months ago. This is a 1964 Gibson EB2. They have a lovely tone, and when you want to engage the baritone boost switch, they pack quite a punch. Here is an ES355 from 1960. Most of these were stereo guitars with a varitone rotary switch, but this one is mono. It has two PAFs and a Bigsby, with all the hardware gold plated. As with all my observations in the video, please feel free to correct and add to my comments. The third ES guitar on the table is also from 1960, and this one is an ES345, one of only 50 blondes made in 59 and 60. Eric Clapton famously used one of these, a 1964 ES335, for the second Albert Hall show in November 1968. And this one dates from just 1 week after his. Second from the end on the table is this Sunburst Dotneck 335 from early 1959. The final guitar on this display is a 1962 ES330 in cherry red with P90 pickups. The next display is from the collection of Bob Wootton, who you probably know from the Bob and Ramone show on YouTube. Check it out if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link below. On the left we have a near mint 1959 ES335. This one has double white PAF pickups and a medium-sized D-profile neck. Now we have two classic Les Pauls from the 1950s, a stoptail gold top with P90s and barrel knobs, and a very nice Sunburst Junior. Moving along, here are two nice Les Paul TV models, both 1960 double cuts with P90s. We have a Les Paul Junior with a big 59 style neck and a Les Paul Special. Also belonging to Bob is this gorgeous 1961 slabboard Strat in its original shoreline gold. Here we have a 1957 Sunburst Strat, which was brought to the show by David, co-author of the Burst Believers books and curator of the Burst Believers Stand. This is a really nice Strat with a very interesting history, having once been owned by a US Army veteran. The first thing you see when entering the show on the ground floor is the ATB Stand. We'll look at the two Sunbursts in the second video. There'll be a link to that below, and we'll get started with this lovely 1957 3 pickup custom. The condition of this guitar is remarkable. None of the checking usually seen, and the gold plating just lightly worn and still bright. Moving on, we have a 53 to 59 conversion, which came from the workshop of Player Grade Vintage. Here is another black custom, this one from 1968. This is ATB's Stratocaster selection, lots of rosewood boards, a couple of maple necks and some custom colours. Here is the ATB Telecaster and Esquire section. Jaguars and Jazzmasters. This is the SG part of the ATB stand, We've got a 62 ebony block and a Les Paul SG with the sideways vibrola. And here is a white 1962 custom, also with the sideways vibrola. Here are some juniors, a Les Paul recording and 2 Epiphones. And here are the ES guitars. An ES 355, I really like the 345s. This is the Ampaholic Stand. Lots of spare and rare parts, pedals and accessories. At the back we've got a lovely old 1961 Vox and a Fender Tweed from 1955. Here we are at the stand of the gear garage. 2 nice gold tops, a 52 and a 54. And here we have a refinished 1955 Junior. This is the stand of Phil's vintage guitars in Tame. Phil always has some great gear on his website. Next to Phil is Guitar Avenue. Gary also gets some really choice gear. Here we can see a blue Strat from the early 60s, a 50s Tele and an ES 175. Last but not least on our tour of the show is Mick Gould's stand. Mick had a really nice early 50s to 59 spec conversion and some great looking early 60s Strats. I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out the links below and take a look at the second video I made for the show, which focuses purely on the 1958 to 60 Sunburst Les Pauls. Thanks for watching. Cheers for now.